save your right for screaming.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
Oh, that is awesome! That is awesome! That is brilliant!
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the 60th episode of Screaming into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today are my co-hosts, the Hijabi Gamer.
Hi, that's me. See, it says so
Ryan.
underneath my name.
It does.
Hello. Apparently, I'm in way too many intros.
Oh, wait! I gotta show off the hat. The hat. Muggsy can send me this hat.
That Pikachu?
Nice. Yep.
Yes.
Sure looks like it. And joining us today for as long as we have him, the infamous Devil Made Me Do It.
Yep. Hey, what's up? I'm Devil Made Me Do It. Check out Nalik3 on the Twitters and check out Beelzehub on YouTube. Get ranked every Sunday. Thanks for having me.
Key
No
question
problem.
here. At least when the devil made you do it, did you have fun? Did you enjoy it? I mean, if you're gonna do it,
Yeah. Well, I'm the devil, so that's the thing is I kind of use that as, everyone blames me for everything, so why not blame myself? So yeah, I do have fun when I make myself do stuff. Often.
And you can also usually catch him on Dermy Wormy's channel Monday mornings after Get
Yeah.
Ranked.
I created that little parasite, so now I have to take care of him.
For a Maoist struggle session.
Yeah, speaking of our pal Dermy Wormy, he got his shit pushed in last night. If you haven't seen it, go over to his channel, check out Ball Busters. They had Yellow Flash on, which was very cool. And yeah, they reamed that kid.
He was drunk enough he won't remember.
Yeah, I hope he was drunk enough he won't feel it.
Oh no, he said just like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago in the chat that he feels like shit and he's got to go to the gym.
well, I did mention that this stream during my Zur location video, I mentioned this is one of the streams I do. So who knows? Maybe people from my Zur Destiny stuff will come along too.
Nice. Let's say hello to the chat. Richard L. after last night has decided he's gonna kick that hornet's nest. One of our other co-hosts, Double Lawrence Knight, has a thing about being first, and he will jump into a chat like 17 hours before it goes live just to make sure he's first, and he'll take screenshots and send them to people so he has proof and shit like that. And so anyway, it's kind of a running joke and it all started with Richard L on another channel in someone else's chat like 2 years ago.
I think it's a colored person thing.
Oh man. Kohai Masochist, the Demon Memer. Greetings and salutations. I see Zillage in the chat. Everybody's not even here today, guys.
Oh my god, everybody's kicking the hornet's nest.
We've Clue, who's sometimes panelist on here as well.
Clue's awesome.
Dude, you have the link if you want to come in.
Clue's buying a 3D printer. Like I bought one already. I have one.
That's cool. What about
Outpost Nerd? How's it going, Bernie? See, yeah, Luke Hasley. Always a pleasure. By the way, last night we plugged something for Luke Hasley. She is working on a project that we talked about a little bit last night, and the links to all that entails are in the description of Abyssal Musings from yesterday. Go check that out. It's very cool. It's sort of an online finishing school. Lou wrote the curriculum for it. So, and Muggsikins, always a pleasure. So, what do you guys think about tipping?
Tipping?
I try not to do it. I'm a penny pincher.
Are we talking about
All
like
right,
tipping a
wait.
waitress?
No, all right, you want to know my opinion on tipping? I love it. Not for the paying side of it, because I never buy food out anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. However, every now and then, I'm not going to say it because I don't want the wrong people to say it, but
Hey, Squanch.
let's just say at some point in one of my jobs, people will sometimes give me a little something, and you know what? It's always a pleasant surprise.
They'll give you a little something, huh?
Yeah, a little something. You know what? This way you can't say anything, but it's always nice, and well, it always was nice. Maybe I'm not implying when or where this was done, but it's always greatly appreciated.
Fair enough. Well, the reason that I ask is because I saw this from Lauren Chen this morning, where she says tips should always be up front before. So apparently somebody said that tips are supposed to be given up front before the service is rendered. And it appears that Lauren here disagrees, but she also talks about how abolishing tipping culture and just like paying, servers and such a regular wage as opposed to like the $2.13 an hour they make would be the best way to go. Now, when I was coming up, you tipped someone because not just because they rendered you a service, but because they did it well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's why
tip somebody for doing their job. You tipped them because they did it well. And now it's just expected. It's actually included in your bill most of the time that you just, automatically, they get a tip, whether they were any good at it or not.
Yeah, that's what it was created for. A gratuity was to make sure you got good service. It was to sit there and say, okay, the nicer you are to me, the more generous I'm going to be to you.
Right.
And we've gone away from that. And I think here in California, they pay servers as minimum wage, $15 an hour now, just like they do anybody else. So you get tips on top of getting all that money. I know it used to be that the servers got paid less, but they made up for it in tips. But now that's not even the case, I don't think.
Wait, all right. So I said my opinion because of just my personal experience, but I agree with what Muggsy Kinson, that it's not our job to pay them. They should get paid a livable wage. As someone who's been to Egypt, I can speak from experience where tipping has gone, I would almost say a little too far, where everything you have to give somebody something. We're even everywhere, and I mean, in some circumstances, it gets a little ridiculous. Egypt's government and just doing things bureaucratically. If you want to get your driver's license or something, you basically have to be ready to be prepared to pay a whole bunch of like tips. It's in everything you do.
I gotta be honest, I'm actually the opposite on it. I don't think you should make $15 an hour and get tips on top of it. And I think there's a lot of servers that would probably disagree with that too. Well, I don't say they would disagree with that, but I don't think they would want to do away with tipping, because I have a family member that works at a high-end restaurant, works there in between 4 and 5 hours a shift, because the place is only open for like 5 hours, and walks away with almost as much money in tips as I made at my former government job in a day.
God damn.
So if they got paid like, $15 an hour, they would make drastically less. They would make half as much as they do. Because in my old job, let's just say I was making over $200 a day. That's all. That's about ballparking what I'll say. And this family member makes over about $200 a shift for 5 hours of work. So $15 an hour would literally be hamstringing the people that work there. Now, I'm not saying that every place is like that, but there are people who work at great restaurants that are like, dude, I don't want do not touch my crap. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because if you're doing like an 8-top at a restaurant that is like $100, $150 a plate type situation, you're making a shit ton of money when that bill comes. I mean, a ton. on tip. If you're getting 20% of a bill that could be almost $1,000 in
I mean, I think
1 hour worth of work.
I think there are pizza delivery drivers that would be like going, dude, I don't know. I don't want to make a standard hourly rate. I'd rather make tips because, you know, yeah, you'll get people sometime like, oh, you know, oh, keep the change. And it's like 74 cents, you know, but that's like a dime a dozen. You know, most of the time you get people who'll toss you $3, $4, $5. Sometimes, you know, you'll get people like, oh, I don't appreciate it. You know, here's $10, you know, and, but I've delivered pizza for Domino's before. The average tip was probably between $3 to $4. So you know, it's, I don't know. I think people, you know, some people would probably buck that idea given how much they get tipped.
I'll admit I don't know much about it because I never eat out. I buy from the supermarket, like something already ready made, like I don't know, a salad, or I have ramen. So I've never really thought about tipping. I notice a lot of the sheesh that goes through in Egypt. But now when I really think about it, not all of it is even tipping. It's a lot of it is sometimes just paying for what you're. So I don't know. I've never really thought about it because it's just never been a part of my life.
Well, I can't speak for what Muggsykin's just said because she's in Canada, but I know in the United States that statement is wrong. You are supposed to, by law, log your tips at the end of the night in the computer system so they can be taxed. Now, I'm not saying that people don't skip that or only say, let's say they walk away with $250 in a night and they're like, oh, I only made 125, you know, where they fudge the numbers.
Yeah, but Ryan, technically
doing that, I mean, the IRS is going to be up your ass.
Yeah, but Ryan, technically, people in the United States are supposed to, file for taxes on illicit gains too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, nobody does.
Like if you steal a car and sell it, all the money that you get for that, you're supposed to report to the IRS so they can tax you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people mow the lawn for cash and don't report it.
Could you imagine that? I made I made 400,000 from bricks of cocaine. Here you go, daddy government.
Let's say you
yeah, but I only ended up with 100K of it afterwards.
Well, because
the IRS spent the rest.
Goddamn government spends it on garbage anyway. They don't deserve it at this point.
Well, the government taxes your winnings for gambling. Like if you go to Las Vegas, win $20,000, you know, you can either have it taxed there at the counter, or you know withheld there at the counter, or you can claim it on your taxes later on and have to pay it there.
Yeah,
you know. So I mean, everything the government does is taxed. So I can't speak for Canada. What they're supposed to do here, I'm not saying they're doing, but you know, it's one of those things that there's good and bad, you know, to the process. I used to, yeah, exactly. Outpost. Nothing is not taxed.
Which is ironic for a country that was formed based on no taxation.
Yeah. They, yeah, you're 100% right about that winnings tax. If you go to a casino, make sure you have your ID on you, because if you win above a certain amount, below a certain amount, they don't do it. You just do it yourself. But above a certain amount, they have to have you fill out actual paperwork at the casino claiming this money so that they can file it, and then so you can't get around that. Yeah.
Yep.
You will have to prove your thing so you can pay taxes on that. So see, no matter how much you win, the government always wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you get caught counting cards, you know, not only will they tax you on those winnings, but they'll take them back and break your legs.
Yep. Yeah, right. I don't think they break your legs as much anymore. They just kick you out and you're banned forever.
Yeah, the breaking thumbs has gone by the wayside, but yeah, you'll never be able to go in a casino because they're all connected with that. So if you cheat at one casino and you're caught, they will tell every other casino. You won't be able to go to a single casino in any of those cities. Vegas, wherever it is.
Yeah, they don't tolerate that crap because you know, and the funny thing is the saying the house always wins is because the house has actually rigged the game against you.
Yeah. Yep. They can do anything they want to make it fair for them or in their favor. You can't. Yep. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's no different than the government. I mean, look at the way the government is set up. You know, in modern day, I mean, it's more
Yeah, I
It's
love it.
more for set up to be profitable for the politicians than it is to actually represent the people.
Yeah.
All right.
The house always wins, ladies and gentlemen.
So the reason I brought up tipping is because I'm not actually sure how I feel about it, given what Lauren posted. And I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that she says. Some of the stuff she says I think is dead on. But you know, I think that if you're gonna tip, if you're gonna do it, it should be based on the performance of the person getting
Yeah.
the tip.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you shouldn't be doing it at all. And so as
Yeah.
far as abolishing tipping culture and just paying people regularly, on a certain level, I kind of get that, because like the guys in the kitchen, the busboys and such, they generally make, an average wage, whereas your servers, generally speaking, and your hosts, generally speaking, do not. They make a pittance, and they rely on those tips to survive, which you would think, by the way, there was a time when that encouraged stellar service so that they could get that, they could bring that money in. But now it's just, you're just expected to be paid for, being in the building, really.
Well, sometimes even busboys and stuff like that will actually get a small portion of the tips from a server if they do a good job and stuff like that, and get the tables clean quickly. So there's a quick turnaround. A lot of servers will do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Same with bartenders.
Right.
Okay.
And I think
I've bust tables before, so I mean, I definitely know.
Yeah, and in a lot of places, I think servers are expected to pool their tips at the end of the night and share them out with the bussers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though the bussers make more money than they do.
Well, now they do it with the whole staff usually, but that's because, like I said, here in California, at least, I believe that the servers get paid as much as the kitchen staff, the basic kitchen staff.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get up to chef and sous chef and saucier and those kind of levels in at least fancy restaurants, you're making more because you're what you know and what you can do. But yeah, like in Denny's kind of kitchen level, they're making as much as the chefs, the cooks. And so, yeah, I think they share them all around at that point. Because that used to be the case, was if you're a cook in the kitchen, you have a skill, you're bringing a skill to it. So they got paid full price. And like you said, the waiters and staff outside of the kitchen, they got paid nothing. And so the tips were their paycheck essentially. But yeah, now, like I said, in California, at least, they make as much as them. So why should they get a tip when the food you're eating was prepared by somebody who's actually trained sometimes? And so, yeah, now I think they share all around the restaurant, at least here in California.
Yeah. And at that point, if they're making the same as the kitchen staff, like, or at least a comparable wage to the kitchen staff and all that, why are they tipping at all?
Yeah. Now it's just so they don't spit on your drink.
So it's a bribe.
They don't give you sneezers.
Yeah, please don't give me herpes by touching my burger.
And Lovett made a really good point. The familiarity of regular customers is something that I actually very much I identified with, because the reason is I would order pizza from the same place all the time, and I knew that they did a good job every time. So I would actually always pre-tip them, before they even got there, because I knew they did a good job. So I didn't have a problem doing with that, but if you go to like a new place, you've never been there, you don't know what the wait staff is like or anything. You're going to be, you're more inclined to wait till the end of the night. But you also have places like, if you have a party larger than, let's say, 8 people or something like that, then of course gratuities built in on top of a surcharge for the size of the party itself. And then of course they always give you like the option to add a little extra at the end if you want to.
And there's
Yes.
And there's inequality in tipping. Let me tell you, girls make a lot more tip than guy servers. Yes. A lot more.
Yeah. Now myself, I haven't worked in a lot of that kind of like I've worked in restaurants, but I was never on the front line. I was never out among the customers. I was usually in the back, dishwashing or cooking or something like that. But I've had a variety of different jobs, and there have been a few where not only have you been actively discouraged from accepting gratuities, but in some cases, like government work, it was flat out illegal.
My former job, it wasn't illegal. It's not illegal, but it was against the rules. You weren't supposed to take so like a lot of people. Well, my former job, I don't really care. I was a mailman, so you're not supposed to take like cash tips or whatever for like the holidays, because everybody tips the mailman for like Christmas.
Yeah, my family would do something every year.
Yeah, like so they're like, oh, if they want to like give you some cookies or like a gift card or something, that's fine, but they can't give you flat out cash. I'll tell you what, the majority of people give you flat out cash. I knew one guy on his route. He worked in one of the richest parts of Tampa. He would walk away every Christmas with like $6,000.
Damn.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like, I've worked government jobs. I have a government job right now, and because of where I work and who I work with, right, I could get in serious fucking legal trouble if I accepted a tip of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
That I can understand. Yeah.
And like I wouldn't necessarily do it anyway, because there's no real reason to tip me. My job doesn't really require anything that I would consider tip worthy, but it's one of those things because of the position that I'm in, right? Anything that I do reflects on people who are much higher up than I am. and the rules are pretty specific. So not only could I probably lose the job within a heartbeat, but I probably would be at the very least charged civilly, kind of thing, because it looks like a bribe at that point.
Yeah.
Well, that's so my experience in being a police officer, you're not supposed to. So like a lot of people, you'll get like local convenience stores and stuff like that. They'll try to offer like police officers, like a free cup of coffee or something like that. And the reason for doing so is basically to get the officers to be there more often, so there's less issues, but they do so in the sense of it's looked at as a bribe, and it is looked at as an integrity issue, and you can very easily lose your job over that. So it is something that you're not supposed to do. Then of course there are people who just flat out try to bribe police officers, but you're not even supposed to accept any kind of gift from the public. I mean, there are restaurants that'll I knew one in Florida that like a Chick-fil-A would actually give the police officers free breakfast. And it's like, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to accept that.
Well, we'd had issues like that too, where we'd been told, like our local PD, for example, will tell you the exact same thing that you just said. Now, if something gets donated to the department, that's
as a whole, yes,
a different can of worms. But an individual officer, like anything that they accept, they have to basically turn over to the department, where it either gets shared out or put away. And like where I was at, they just told us, they're like, look. Years ago, I worked in a government job in another city in another state as well. And they just told us, they're like, look, what we don't know, we don't know. If something happens to find its way in your pocket and nobody sees it, it's not on camera, and you don't fucking say anything, it didn't happen as far as we're concerned.
That's why all the donut shops in Ryan's town felt so safe.
Yeah.
Well, I work in retail right now, so this really isn't an issue for me, especially since I work in the back scene, so I don't really deal with customers. So this isn't really an issue for me right now. I'm not sure how salespeople deal with it.
Yeah. Bernie, lots and lots.
Oh God, yeah.
And again, that's like, technically that's illegal. I mean, high government office, they shouldn't be accepting anything of that kind either. Because it looks like favoritism. It looks like bribery. It looks like they're being bought.
Yes. And I saw Lovett's last comments about their chief of police, would stop by and get like 50% off. That's a little different because they're only getting a discount. They're still paying for said service. So it is not looked at the same. Many places will give military or law enforcement discounts, or emergency responders and stuff like that, which is usually 15-20% off. That's okay. It's when something's free that it's not okay, because that is considered to be a bribe.
Yeah, they've had that problem in like with government officials and stuff from lobbyists, where they're all like, okay, well, you can't take money. So then they started buying them like really expensive meals and taking them on vacation. So then they made the law where you can't take food from a lobbyist unless it can fit on a spoon. Like, just because, you will see when there's a situation for corruption, it's going to happen. That's just, so, yeah.
I honestly think our politicians should be held to the highest integrity standards that we hold our law enforcement officers to, and we don't. Because police officers are hooked up to.
You should hold them to the standards that we hold the lawn care officers to.
Yeah. If this is one thing that a lot of people have argued over years, it's like, if you can hook a polygraph test or a voice analyzer, stress test analyzer to the good guys, to the good guys, then you should be able to do it to the bad guys, right? And I think the same should be probably done for politicians. Like, we don't background check our politicians. They could be scummy ass people, and most of the time they are, and nothing. We just hand them all this power.
Yeah, and it happens everywhere. I mean, look at doctors. Doctors take a ton of money from pharmaceutical companies to push their particular pharmaceutical. Just recently at the dentist, I went in for a cavity, and they're all like, it looks like you might have a little bit of gum disease. Here, watch this video. And they were trying to sell me on like some GumX thing, which is this thing I would have to pay $2,000 like every couple months to stick this dish with this paste in there that's somehow going to help my gums. And I'm all like, I came in here to get this taken care of. Why the hell are you trying to sell me on this crap? So it's because of kickback. It's because the money they get.
Well, Muggsy was telling me about, because I was talking about the fact that Buster is only eats Friskies, and I thought that was the worst. And she's like, Hill's something science diet is actually worse, and that's the one that vets give out. And it's like, because they get a kickback on that cat food that actually isn't very good for them.
Can't trust anybody's.
Well, look at the Super Poke that we literally just went through. I mean, they were pushing that thing like it was going out of style, and look at all the people that were pushing it. What kind of money were they getting in their pockets? And it's like, oh, they had stocks in it. Oh, that makes sense. No wonder. Yes, please consume said product so we can get more money in our pocket.
You mean the safest, most workiest poke ever?
Yeah.
Or the hormones or the hormones, which turns it even worse, because at least the jab is once a year. These drugs are millions and millions of dollars in their pockets for the rest of the person's life.
Oh, well, literally.
Well, it's not even just that. Like, I know you're talking about the HRT shit, but any pharmaceutical, really. It's like, that's just, yes, Ritalin, ADHD medication, antidepressants, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, lately antipsychotics, sleep aids. All of this stuff is big fucking money. And by the way, funny fact, y'all, the active ingredient in Benadryl is the same shit in over-the-counter sleeping medication. Just saying. It's all of that stuff is a product that's getting pushed by physicians, because physicians, like Devil said, are getting huge kickbacks for this, which is how they're paying off their medical schools.
Yep.
I used to be on Ritalin because I had ADD before it was ADHD, back when old school, and they gave me Ritalin, and I stopped taking it because as a kid it just sucked, because you would be, your head would be foggy, you would be so slowed down, it just was awful. And now as an adult I'm like, God damn, why can't I get a hold of some Ritalin?
Whereas no, I'm the opposite. I haven't taken it because at one point my insurance, it was just too expensive because Obamacare, I'm just gonna tell you, was ridiculously overpriced and I couldn't afford. I was paying a $300 a month premium, plus I would have had to pay like another $75 for the monthly doctor appointment, plus $50 for the Medicaid. I didn't have the money. I simply could not afford it. But when I did take Ritalin, I started as an adult. It made a huge difference. It didn't fog me up. It didn't put me to sleep. It didn't keep me up. It didn't. I wasn't addicted to it either. Like I could just drop it at without cold and not have any problems. People did not believe me. They're like, there's no way you just stop taking Adderall. Oh no, I was taking Adderall. They're like, there's no way you stop taking Adderall and not had any withdrawal. I'm like, no. During Ramadan, half the time I would forget to take it and would never even realize I hadn't taken it. I noticed the effects. It does make a difference for me, but I just, after a while, I was like, I don't like being dependent on big pharma. So while yes, it did good for me, I just, you have to go to a doctor once a month.
Yeah, but there's lots of stuff you have to go to a doctor once a month for, or more frequently even. Like take cancer patients.
Yeah, well,
I kind of want
on dialysis.
Real quick, I kind of want to poke at the Obamacare thing too. So it was supposed to be something to lower medical bills for everyone, right? And make it affordable for everybody to have. Well,
no.
Hold on. So the thing that sucks ass is that every year when you file your taxes, you have to prove that you had medical coverage that year. And if you don't, you get a giant ass fine.
Yes. 1 year I didn't have because I was stupid. And 1 year I missed the cutoff date for the Obamacare. And I went several months without health insurance. I paid a massive fine. The following year, I ended up on Obamacare. And it was because I wanted to get my job's insurance. But I didn't know the cutoff date was in October. So I had to get Obamacare. I paid, people were blown away how much I spent. I paid $300 a month. I had a copay. I had a massive, the deductible. I had ridiculous costs. I mean, like I said, just to get Adderall, I needed to pay $300 a month. Plus, I had to pay $75 to get a doctor's appointment, which literally consisted of, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Are you suicidal? No. Here's your next prescription. And then another, I think it was at least $30 or $40 for the prescription. It was ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah.
Now I get better insurance from my job that was cheaper.
What's Kohai is saying right here, actually, at the time when Obamacare was rolled out and they made that shit mandatory, and they were saying like you were going to get exponentially fined for however long you didn't have it by the IRS of all fucking people.
Yep.
My wife and I at the time when I was married, we called the government. We were like, look, we can't afford insurance and we can't afford to be fined. Like we can't even afford the Obamacare thing. We were that poor at the time. And they took a look at our statements and they laughed in our faces and they said, don't worry about it. You're too poor for us to worry about.
God, what a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And they're getting people on the going and the coming because I'm not going to tell you how, but I know about taxes. Anyway, so many people are getting hit for having Obamacare and then making just a little bit too much. They're very vague on that. And so you get the Obamacare so that you don't get the fine from that. And then it turns out you made just over what you can to qualify. And then they'll hit you with a massive fine on that end too. So they're getting money coming and going with people with Obamacare. It was a huge FU to the American citizens by
almost the devil's triangle.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, which I'm embarrassed to admit, I voted for Obama. F you, Obama.
Well, and we've also, in my opinion, we've added the final corner to make it a triangle, and now it's a square. When they passed the law saying that if you have a deposit in your bank account of $600 or more, they can investigate that. The IRS
Mhm.
can. It's like, well, we're not going to worry about, these millions of dollars that are floating around and going to different countries and just blowing out of proportion. But if you got that $600 in your bank account, let's take a look. Where'd you get that
Yeah.
at?
We misplaced how much money we gave to the Ukraine. Don't hold us accountable. But if you forget to tell us you made $5 here, we're gonna get you.
Yeah.
Right. Just so we're all clear here. I know Kat probably didn't get the reference, but you guys do know what I mean when I say Devil's Triangle, right?
Yeah, the Bermuda
Mhm.
Triangle.
No. It's spit roasting with a double high five.
You don't
worry about it, Kat.
Yeah.
You know what? After no, I don't want to know. I don't need to
Kat
know.
is a
I'm
sweet
not-
summer
Wow.
child. She doesn't need to know
Yeah.
about these things.
On one end, you got
Wow,
the government,
that's not where I
government. On
thought
the
you-
other end, you got the healthcare industry, and they're high fiving over you.
I'm not. I didn't think. I figured that's where you were going, but I didn't think you would actually say it.
It is, in fact, Haram Master Farce Theater.
Yeah, I didn't think you would actually say it.
How long have you known me?
Yeah. Like,
I don't. You know what? I'm not. You know what? I'm happy playing Warframe and not thinking about it. Thank you very much.
I mean, you could. Let's just say it takes 3 to participate.
I still don't want to know. I don't know. I'm gonna happily enjoy Warframe instead.
Oh, I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm not going to be
That's
that crude.
Probably for the best. Yeah.
Cat has
Hey,
been. We have
speaking
turned
of,
Cat into a degenerate. Probably enough. It's like,
Speaking of raw degeneracy, I don't see Shadow in the chat.
don't you do?
No.
He's probably working.
He's probably
He
working.
probably is. So he won't get too pissed if I show this then.
Oh no!
I'm just too freaking tired to fight it and might as well just go along.
Version 2. Version 2.
I'm just too tired to fight it.
Courtesy of Kohai Masochist, that is Shadow getting fucked sideways by a cactus.
He's just too tired to fight it.
And the irony is that he's actually on Brie Larson's body in the original, and she's in a yoga pose. That's why it has giant feet.
Yeah. The original version of that was just a photo of her doing yoga, and then she slapped Shadow's face onto that.
But the animated version's even better.
Good stuff. So something else that I heard, although they say this every year, and every year it amounts to pretty much nothing, but I do think it's funny that they're saying it again. And again, I haven't seen any news coverage of this.
Oh no!
But that doesn't mean anything. Apparently, Antifa is threatening to shut down Sturgis again.
Oh,
Wait.
good luck.
Wait, what is Sturgis?
It's a
the biggest
massive
biker meetup.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
good
massive
luck.
motorcycle rally in South Dakota every year for the last 60 years.
Wait, Antifa wants to shut down a motorcycle rally.
Not just any motorcycle rally. This one was started by World War II veterans who turned gangster.
Yeah.
And not even just that. There's supposed to be like 550,000 bikes there this year.
Oh, good
There is
luck.
not enough Antifa losers in this country to even try.
There's usually
Wait,
like upwards of a million
wait.
people who show up every year.
Wait, first off, why do they want to shut this thing down? Just out of pure. Why are they?
They
being
want
that
to die.
Well,
other
what it
than
says
that-
here, is that too many American and Confederate flags.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, I bet you the bicyclists are probably going, yeah, please, we're begging you to try.
People get shot at Sturgis every year, minus having Antifa.
I was going to say at least 2/3 of the guys who show up on motorcycles are armed to the fucking teeth. At
Yes.
least.
Yeah,
I almost want them to try just to see what
I
happens.
hope they
to them.
try.
It'll be so much fun to watch them get stomped.
this is
I mean,
that
they'd have to-
song "Try in a Small Town," like in
Yeah.
personification. These guys, some of them are 1%ers, Some of them are just guys who know they're going to run into 1%ers. Either way, yes, people are strapped. People have knives. People have brass knuckles. They have all kinds of weapons all over the place. You come there and start saying, my pronouns are, they're not going to find you.
They'll carve your body till you fit your pronouns.
Yeah. And some of these guys are a part of the infamous motorcycle gang, the Hells Angels.
Well, it's not just, first of all, it's not just the Hells Angels. The Hells Angels had a big part in starting the whole thing, but you got the Sons of Silence, you've got Los Hermanos, you've got about a dozen different outlaw biker clubs. I'm being very diplomatic here when I say those are that's that's a TV show, but
no, don't they have one that's actually called the Mayans? Or something? Or they Aztec or something like that.
There's the
Aztecs
is real, but the Aztecs and the Mongols are very real. But
there's Spanish ones, there's black ones, there's white. Every kind of biker gang has some sort of criminal element gang to it.
Yeah, but it's specifically in the area of South Dakota, Wyoming, North Dakota, Montana. It's the ones you really got to worry about are the Sons of Silence, and to a lesser extent, the Hells Angels. You know, and these guys, like you said, Devil, a lot of them are 1%ers.
You can have
and for those who don't know what that means, it means they're in the 1% of motorcycle enthusiasts who've taken a life. Yeah. Most of them due to military service, but not all of them.
Yeah. 1% of biker gangs are criminal elements, and so they call it the 1%ers. And they have a tag. They actually have a badge they put on their colors, their cut, that say 1%, and that means they are down to do criminal acts.
Well,
only those who've earned that patch are the only ones who get to wear that shit. They catch you wearing that shit, and you're not one of them.
Yeah, you're going to be on the opposite end of it.
Yeah.
No, but on top of that, I bet even if they had 2 or 3 times as many Antifa, they're all a bunch of soy boys. Most of them are just big. Go around thinking that they look tough because what are they doing? They're bullying parents. They're bullying people who are saying.
I hope they do it.
Same. I want to see them get crushed. They are going to learn the hard way why you don't mess, and they're going to realize that they have no chance. Wake them up.
I hope they start a dance off. I really do. I would love to see that shit on the news.
It's like a bunch of West Side Story gang members against the Sons of Anarchy. That's like legit. Like these people will murk you and they won't think twice about it.
Yeah.
And no one, by the way, nobody will find you. This is in the heart of the Black Hills.
Yes.
No one will ever see you again.
Yeah.
If you start shit with these guys.
And on top of that, most of these people aren't even like, they're not married. They're not any of that. So no one's going to be like throwing a fit if they don't find you. You know, maybe a parent here or there, but even them are going to be like, yeah, my kid left to, called me a fascist and told me, because they're trying to separate them from their families. Yeah. So it's only going to be their buddies who they shared cat food with.
And you want to know what's funny too is that even these dudes who are the baddest of the bad, you know what? Yeah, they still have respect for the American flag, and they won't tolerate these nonsensical kids calling them these horse shit little fucking names that don't mean anything anymore, like racist and fascist.
Like I said, Ryan, a good portion of them are also veterans who very much believe in serving their country and their people.
That's where it all started from. That's what the original biker gangs were. They were people coming back from World War II who loved their bikes that they had over there, even though they broke your ass because they didn't have any suspension. They brought their bikes back from World War II and they loved them. They started working on them, like, putting suspension and started tinkering with them. And they wanted to hang out with other veterans and other guys who knew what they went through. And so they formed these biker gangs. And that's how it all originally started, was veterans bringing their bikes back from the war. And so they know how to defend themselves,
Right. And the clubs themselves usually were, because this was true even after World War II, although lesser than to a lesser extent than, like, say, after Vietnam or whatever. But, veterans who came back to the world, especially after something like, the beaches of Normandy, they had a hard time adjusting to normal life again. And some of them became drifters and some of them became a little lost. And the MC started up as a way for them to have a place to belong.
Yeah.
The
Vietnam.
and then,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The Vietnam brought the criminal element even more, because then those guys who came back from Vietnam were disenfranchised. You know, they were upset with the
hated.
government. Yeah, they were hated. They were upset with the government. They were forced into a war that they didn't want to be in by the draft and stuff. And so when
And
they
the
came
American
back,
public hated them too.
Wait,
Yeah.
the thing is, I was just listening to, I don't know who it was, I can't remember, who actually pointed out, and I was surprised by this. He said that most of the people who died in Vietnam or who went to Vietnam were not drafted. They were volunteers. And that I was very, very surprised, because we are all given the impression that nobody wanted to go to Vietnam. And that they were like, no, most of the
Well,
people
nobody really did want to go to
Who
Vietnam,
gives
to be
you?
honest.
Who gives you? Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some truth to that. But as far as the volunteer thing goes, who gives you that impression? Television.
Yes,
Movies.
which is what made me realize that, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I haven't looked directly myself for the sources of information on this, but I think it was actually Ben Shapiro who was talking about, I'm trying to remember who, but they were saying, yeah, that we are all under the impression that people did not want to go to Vietnam, that it was that the majority of the people, and it's like, who were the people fighting against the Vietnam War? College students.
yeah, there's a difference between wanting to go and feeling your duty to go. You know,
well,
there's still, Americans still have the sense of duty of protecting our country, of doing these things. It still doesn't mean you wanted to be there.
No, but they chose, like, it wasn't like they weren't forced by the draft. It was, they
Yeah.
felt it was their duty. It wasn't, we get the
Well, there
impression
was
from
a
watching.
draft.
No, there was a draft, but he said the majority,
Well, the majority of the armed services has always been staffed by volunteers. That's the way it's always been. But there was a draft for Vietnam. Now the problem with the Vietnam War is that they were using guerrilla warfare tactics, which we were not used to, and they knew those jungles like the back of their hand, and so we were vastly outnumbered, and we were vastly outmatched, and even though we had superior firepower, and you know, we were destined to lose that. There was just no way around.
Well, they did to us what we did to the British.
Yes.
Yeah. And
you know,
and it was different because usually the War Department runs the wars. They're the soldiers.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing and stuff. With Vietnam, it was essentially run by bureaucrats. They were making the choices, and they were making real bad choices that cost a lot of men their lives.
All right, I just posted a
Sorry,
thing in
John.
the chat. The draft and the Vietnam War. Now I only read the first line because I don't have time to read the whole thing. But during the Vietnam War, about 2/3 of American troops volunteered. The rest were selected for military service through the draft. I did not expect it to be that high.
Oh no, the U.S. military has always been the majority volunteer.
Because we were saying, what did we see? What we saw on television and in the media was the majority of people were against the draft. The majority of the people who were opposing the Vietnam War were against the draft. However, as Ben Shapiro pointed out, the majority of the people opposing the Vietnam War were college students,
hippies,
hippies and hippie liberals,
the flower children.
Yes,
the very first,
make love, not war, man.
Whereas
Yeah,
people
make love, not war,
who
man.
went to Vietnam and chose to go to and did it out of sense of duty.
The
were
birth of modern leftists.
Yes, that's why he was bringing it up. He's like, the birth of modern leftists came with that.
Yeah. And that's why, like I said, the biker gangs, that's where the criminal element came in, was because a lot of these guys, after going through what they did, and the PTSD, dealing with people spitting on them when they came home and stuff, they didn't want to be part of society. They didn't want to play by the rules. And so that's where the criminal element came in, because they were all like, okay, if they say we can't do this, well, then that's how we're going to live our lives, is on the outside. And so, yeah, after Vietnam is when the biker gangs started going, 1%ers.
Yep.
And that's when it kind of changed, because before that, with the World War II ones, you're right, they were just veterans who wanted to get together and stuff, and they got in fights, bar fights and stuff, but it wasn't drugs and weapon dealing and all that. That came in after Vietnam, after the vets from Vietnam came back.
But I don't blame him. I mean, especially since I was under the impression, and I'm sure a lot of other people, that the majority of people who went to Vietnam were drafted against their will. So then, and you get the impression that the Vietnam War, so it's like, well, yeah, I can see that they were very much, I can understand why they wanted to stick to each other, because people probably hated them.
Right. So Devil's got to bounce. He's got another stream he's got to get to. tell the good people where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, find me Nalik3 on the Twitters or find me at Beelzehub. Please go subscribe and check out Get Ranked every Sunday and Pissing Contest when that gets off the ground.
Like, I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase that last part.
It's literally called Pissing Contest.
Yep.
It's gonna be called you can also find him on Sundays with our Star Trek Engage stream that Ryan and I do with a bunch of other people who are and Kat has recently joined the cast as well. So like the four of us plus Adam the Red Shirt and Horny Elf.
Yep. Cat till we break her till she finally goes, I'm done with this.
No, I am going. My goal is to break all of you and turn it into a nonstop Star Trek conversation. I'm going to break all of you.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
She's going to try to make it into a tea party.
You got a lot of degeneracy to break through.
Right. So, but yeah, Devil, your description is in the link below, so people can find you on Beelzehub. Sub to the hub.
Yeah, sub to the hub. Had a lot of fun, and I'll come back at some point if you want me.
Absolutely, I think you're a fantastic guest. So,
all right, bye, guys.
Your icon,
see you, buddy.
is cool.
Thanks. Bye.
You know, he changes that periodically.
Well, that one is cool.
Like, it's currently red Danny DeVito. Last week it was like white Danny DeVito. I think it was black Danny DeVito before that, and then it was some other dude before that.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny when he does black Danny DeVito with the devil horns.
Apparently, I was born in the summer, so I am a summer child. I can't help it.
Sweet summer child.
That's not what that means.
No. No, it's not.
It's
I love that picture of Garfield with the coffee.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty good.
Kat doesn't know what the Devil's Triangle is, so
it's the Bermuda Triangle. That's another name for it.
It's another name for the Bermuda Triangle, but that doesn't have to do with no, never mind.
I don't want to know. You know, I don't want to know. I'm happy in my ignorance. Sometimes ignorance is.
Let's just say that there's two tent poles and they fit into the end of.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I am happy.
I think Ryan wants to say it though.
No, please don't.
I'm not gonna say any more than that.
All right. So, I have one other planned topic. We're probably going to end up with a short stream today. Ryan's got a thing he's got to go do here in a little while as well. And honestly, it's just been that kind of day. So it probably won't be like the longest, screaming into the void ever. But, we've had some good conversations and stuff. But I do have one more thing that I want to show you guys. Something I found this morning. From BuzzFeed, and we all know how awesome those guys are.
Great.
Oh yeah, I saw that ages ago.
But this is actually pretty fucking funny. I asked AI what Europeans think of Americans from every single state look like, and the results are just plain mean. They're funny too, though. So that's Alabama, Alaska. Apparently they did one for every state, but I thought we'd go through a few of them. Arizona. I mean, if you're talking Arizona State, sure.
Yeah,
like Arizona State University.
New Jersey's still boring.
Arkansas.
Or Kansas.
Where they haven't invented the comb. California. Yeah.
Okay, well that's spot on.
Yeah. That one's actually accurate.
No, the only problem is it's not a dog in a purse.
This is Ryan here. I might save this image and put like Ryan's face on it.
Just make sure to keep the hair.
You gotta find one where you gotta find one where I'm making a funny face like that too, which I guarantee there are many of those out there.
Well, I've got at least one where you're sticking a dildo in your mouth. So
lovely, thanks, man.
Yeah. Connecticut. I don't know too many people from Connecticut, so I don't know how accurate that is. But...
No, Joe Biden's from Delaware. That's right. He's from Delaware. Okay. I want to see what Delaware is.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Lobsters, crabs. Yeah, those are crabs.
They ate
So-
Joe Biden's brain.
I don't know. That seems more like a Maine thing to me, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
more like a main thing to me.
Yeah. So, Florida, Florida man.
Wow.
It depends on what part of Florida you're in. Deep in the swamps, yeah, this fits.
Yeah, deep in the swamps. That's why they're called swamp people. Georgia.
Millions of peaches for
You
me.
got
I
a lot of.
want
Yep.
to move to the South. You know what? I want to move to the South. Be around the rednecks.
Hawaii. Yeah, it's mostly tourists now, but yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah, it is mostly tourists.
Idaho with the big fucking potato. I actually really like that one. That was good.
How come all the country people are like fat?
Oh, it's because they're flyover states, man. It's because they're not the coast. Nobody gives a fuck about us.
I guess.
Yeah, that's that. This is according to BuzzFeed. This is what European an AI representation of what Europeans think.
We love that.
Although I did see a comment on one of the posts about this that said that honestly we can't really tell you guys apart, and the fact that you think we can is hilarious. No.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Indiana.
What is it? Children of the Corn?
Yep.
No, well, that actually makes sense because ask an Egyptian, they were like, "Yeah, you're just an American."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all lump us together.
Iowa. Also, this Children of the Corn like 80 years later.
Yeah.
Kansas. I don't know. Kansas, that's like a state fair thing. You can find that all over the United States.
I know, right?
That doesn't really scream Kansas to me.
Mm-mm.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
He's super grumpy. Louisiana. There you go with the lobsters and the big ass shrimp.
Yeah, you got that Cajun food.
And that's clearly a frat boy.
Yeah.
From somewhere else. Touring the
Mardi
place,
Gras or something.
during Mardi Gras, yeah.
Maine.
That seems more like a West Virginia thing to me, but okay.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that one.
I don't think.
We've got Maryland.
Maryland.
A lot of shellfish.
Why
Yeah, why Maryland too? I saw.
Why does he have them all in his car?
I don't know.
Massachusetts.
Holy shit, that's an angry looking man.
I mean, he looks like a Saudi, so I'll give him that one.
God.
Michigan.
Yeah, that fits.
It not only is that accurate, but that man is not fat. That's just how thick his coat is.
Oh no, he's a little
shit,
chunky.
Michigan.
Look at his face.
It's just storing up for the winter. Minnesota. I mean,
I kind of feel like we should see a city that's on fire.
I sort of feel like maybe, the guy who's they're presenting this chili to, and their Minnesotan hospitality is going to end up in the chili. That's an impression I'm getting from this image. Mississippi.
Is that at like church? Where are they
I
yelling?
think that looks like bear wrestling.
It could be a town hall meeting.
I don't know. They're all holding their hands up though, kind of like in worship.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Missouri. To be fair, they do some pretty wicked barbecue in Missouri.
Yeah.
Montana.
I think that fits Montana.
Parts of
Montana's
it. Sure.
a very rugged state.
Yeah. I like the fact that it's mostly sky in the background. It is called the Big Sky State.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I think that fits, yeah.
But I think that the character and the image and the horse and all of that you could apply that to about 6 different states.
I would agree.
Nebraska definitely Definitely Nebraska. Nebraska's known for its corn.
Yep.
Those are some big ass cobs, though. That's not natural.
No, it's not natural.
Either those are big cobs or that man is a hobgoblin. Nevada. That tracks.
It does track, but why is everybody yelling?
Yes.
Why does
He's
everybody have their
excited. He
mouth
just
like
won.
wide open like they're screaming?
Because we're
Well,
Americans.
it's because Americans are loud.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. All
New
right.
Hampshire. What the fuck are they eating?
I don't
Clam-
know.
I don't think that's clam chowder.
No, you're right. Can't tell.
Those look like little baby corns. Like, and even if they're not, like, why did so many of these images have corn in them? We're not the only country that grows corn. New Jersey.
We don't. What?
If there's one takeaway from this, New Jersey, buy a bib.
Kat, does your
Forks. We have forks in New Jersey.
Kat, does your family sit around eating spaghetti with your hands?
No.
If you look down
No,
here,
fork.
he's got a fork too.
Why is he?
He's just not
Why
using
isn't
it.
he using?
Forks are racist.
All right, let's
What's
see.
with the spaghetti?
New Mexico, accurate,
Roswell,
accurate.
Roswell, New
Radiation
Mexico.
and aliens. New York.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
outta
that
here.
was true. That was true. Well,
It's still-
like there's no money there anymore.
No,
Yeah,
that was true. That city's broke as fuck.
It's
Yeah.
broken.
There are rats who are probably eating what's left of that guy's shoes right now.
Revenge of the Netherlands says, "Hey, we love our corn, so excuse you." Hey,
North
Yui, I don't know
Carolina.
if I should be offended here.
Why is there a frat boy with a barbecue? I don't feel like that fits.
I'm not sure about the North Carolina thing there either. It doesn't really seem North Carolina to me.
I mean, the house fits because it still has like that southern style to it. I mean, the barbecue. but
Yeah.
the frat boy's weird.
Well, that whole area's got really green scenery too.
It does, yes.
Like everything's really
I wanna
because
go
it's so
down
moist
south.
because there's so much moisture and humidity. It's just everything's just so green. So I get the green, but as far as like the hanging out with the Doc Martin knockoffs and the shorts, I don't know how accurate that is, especially not being that clean cut.
Yeah, that's a super douche outfit.
Yeah.
That's more of a California outfit.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, or at Greenwich Village, which is in New York. North Dakota, that's accurate. It's flat and there's nothing there for miles and miles and miles. There are a few hilly spots, but honestly, most of it's like, if you guys have seen the movie Fargo and how everything is white and flat and the sky matches the color of the ground and you just can't get any real sense of distance at all, and everything seems hopeless and bleak, and that's accurate. Go to Fargo, North Dakota sometime in the winter. It's accurate. Ohio.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah. Oklahoma, which is my birth state, by the way.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains.
I mean, technically, New York was my birth state too, but most people from Long Island do not consider ourselves New Yorkers. So, screw New York.
I'm curious what's going on in this image, though, Kat, because it looks like they're dancing from track to track during a train wreck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like what's going on behind them? Is that train breaking in half? Is it two different trains? What's going on? I can't tell.
I don't know. That's weird.
Well, it is AI generated art.
It is.
Which is the future.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Look.
Except that her hair's not multicolored and she needs a giant nose piercing.
That's true. What is it with stupid? Okay, I got a very important question. How do you blow your nose with those things?
Carefully.
I mean, let's say you get a cold, right? And you're coughing and sneezing, and you gotta blow your nose a lot. And you're like in a state of you. I mean, I don't think concern and care in the blowing of your nose is a big issue when you're that sick.
Well, the ring plugs the hole.
Yeah, but still, if you go blow out, you can rip the thing off your nose.
Your skin's a little tougher than that. It'll hold.
But it'll still injure. Is this why they were so scared of COVID? This is why lefties were so scared of COVID? It's because
no,
when they
they're
got
scared of COVID because they're stupid and they're sheep.
Oh, well, that too. But I maybe, the nose rings were a problem.
All right. Well, we will chat. We will get through the rest of these in just a moment. Ryan apparently is going to abandon ship like a little bitch, and we will have to let him go.
Yeah,
Ryan!
The company's over. I just heard everybody comment. So, yeah, we will be doing Star Trek Engage tomorrow. We will be doing the Man Trap, and what's the second one called, Samuel?
Charlie X, I think.
Okay, we're going to be doing those. We will be covering those. So we'll keep each episode to about an hour and a half. I'll try to keep that on a little bit more strict schedule with the shenanigans so we can get through those. I should be able to be on Vets Talking a little bit later tonight, but I'll most likely be late to that as well. So, so much love to the chat, and I'll talk to you guys soon. And Samuel, I'll see you tomorrow, man. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
See you guys.
No, Revenge of the Netherrealm. I cannot look at anyone with a nose ring without thinking, how do you blow your nose? I mean, just something about it.
Let me put it this way: like you're going to get a buildup of material in any kind of thing like that. Like it's same thing with ear piercings. You're going to end up with buildup. You have to clean it once in a while, and occasionally, it can get infected. Well, after it heals, it's less prone to infection because it's just scar tissue running through that hole.
I don't know. The thing is, and one of the things I was going to look into is
I do because I've been around people with piercings my whole life.
No, well, the thing is, I had piercings in my ears, and even though I have not used earrings in a very, very long time, I've noticed that I am prone to getting small infections in my earlobes underneath the piercing, where the piercing, like it's more or less closed at this point, but you still see it from the front and the back, and I've noticed that they get infected.
They can. It is certainly possible. And they might not have healed up all the way too. You might be getting something in there. But in the case of the nose ring thing, like after a while, the scar tissue will heal over, and so it's just like really the hole. You obviously you want to clean that like you do anything else, but it's not that blowing the nose isn't really gonna damage it any further.
I know. I can't imagine blowing your nose with something like that. In the just I don't know.
Well, let me put it this way. Do you know what a Prince Albert is?
No. Do I want to know what a Prince Albert is?
I don't mean this in a way to gross you out, but just in a way to kind of understand how this sort of thing works. Prince Albert is a piercing of the front, the head of the penis. So
why
the barbell,
would anybody
hold on. A lot of people do it. It's a sexual pleasure thing, but the barbell goes in through the urethra and comes out underneath the head. So in essence creates a second opening in the urethra. So when somebody has one of those, in order to pee, they have to sit down or they have to plug one of the holes manually with a thumb or something like that. Otherwise they end up peeing in two directions at the same time.
Why would somebody poke a hole in their penis? That sounds ridiculously painful.
A lot of people do that. Why would somebody pierce their hood? Why would somebody pierce their nipples? Like a lot of people do these things.
I don't.
It isn't about the.
I was a child.
I could tell you why, Kat, but you're not going to understand because you don't have an active sex life. So it's just, you really kind of have to have one of those to get it.
I mean, the ear piercing was something that my parents did when I was a child, and honestly, it's not that pain. It's not like the ear piercing isn't in the way. It's not like you're constantly functioning with your ears, but your nose. You kind of, if you get a cold, it's a problem. Your penis has a lot of nerves in it. That's gotta hurt. I mean, I don't have one, but I figure it must be ridiculously painful to get a hole punched into it.
I mean, From what I hear, it's not as painful as you might think. And again, it depends on the person. Like all of these things do. It depends on the person. I don't have any truck with that myself, but I'm not the only person in the world, and a bunch of people that I know have things like that or very similar to it. And they have no complaints about it aside from the whole having to, make sure they don't pee on their feet at the same time as the bowl, which apparently is a huge inconvenience. So that's a reason definitely not to do it. But
okay. And the nipple thing I don't understand either. But then, hey,
it can increase stimulation. Of course, it can also decrease it to a point where you can't feel anything. So it kind of depends on the person again, and how it's done, and how well it's done, how professionally it's done. If somebody doesn't fuck up the piercing when they do it, there's a lot more that goes into it than just like sticking something through the flesh. You got to do it the right way, or it's going to cause problems. And some people are just simply allergic to having anything through their flesh, particularly certain kinds of metals.
Yeah.
So like even people with like ear piercings, sometimes they just can't have ear piercings because those metals will cause infections and allergic reactions.
Yes,
constantly.
For me, that's true. I always, when I did wear earrings, which I haven't in a very, very long time, because obviously I'm not the most girly of girly people. So when I could, I stopped wearing earrings. I had to wear gold. If I did not wear gold, I would get ear infections.
Yeah.
Remember that as a child.
I know people who've had their wedding rings tattooed on because metal, they're allergic to metal, so they can't wear one. So all right, Clue, we will. I see you there, and we will move on to the next deal there. Wolf breaker. All right, so this is Oregon. Oregon's accurate. Pennsylvania.
I'm sure Geeky Sparkles and Neon will not approve of this one. But oh my God, it's
Neon! We've got Rhode Island. That's pretty accurate. A lot of douchebags in Rhode Island in fucking striped polo shirts. Usually on sailboats and that kind of thing. So I prejudge. First of all, he's this is an AI construct, so likely not actually a douchebag. And even if it was a photograph, I don't know the guy. Maybe he just looks like a douchebag. That's possible.
It's possible. Probable, no, but possible.
Got us some South Carolina. Apparently, they're really into college football down there. I don't know. I've never heard that about South Carolina, but all right. South Dakota looks pretty much like North Dakota, but with the lights on. which is accurate for a good portion of the state, although the Black Hills take up most of the western side of the state, so it's a lot less flat there. But the eastern side of the state, it looks pretty much just like that.
UA, I'm really feeling offended here, man. Very offended, UA.
So we got Tennessee with the moonshine, which you could also find in Kentucky and a number of other southern states. Zinni Biscuit, no, you have not. We have not gotten to Virginia yet.
No.
Port Dakotas, they got nothing. Well, they've got reservations. Ah. Coal, gold, those kind of things, oil. They have things to, profit on, but there's not much in the way of things to look at. Texas. You know what? If I were a European, I get it. I do. I don't know what kind of fucking weird ass European gun that is, but And also, why does this sandwich? I know this is an AI thing, but his sandwich has two tops. One of them just not sesame.
Because it's Texas.
Yeah, that's a lot of bread for a sandwich that size.
That was Texas.
It's like, nah. We have a bunch of people from Texas in the chat, by the way. So, good stuff. All right, moving on to Utah. Okay, so For some reason, they decided to make Utah look like an Aryan nation state.
Yes.
And I saw Lady Gravemaster say Children of the Corn to this one earlier. I think the earlier one where you said it was probably better because there was actual corn in the picture. And they didn't all look the same. In this is more of a Village of the Damned kind of vibe I'm getting. It's just like creepy kids with glowing eyes, kind of thing. They do tend to have big families in Utah. That is accurate. And they do tend to, all part their hair on the same side too. And although they people in Utah will generally smile in photographs. So this is like, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a specific word, the Lebenskinder.
I
Something
think
like
I
that.
know
Anyway.
what you mean, where they had the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. This reminds me of something out of fucking Germany, not Utah. Vermont. I can't say as I know anybody from Vermont. All I think of when I think of Vermont is like maple syrup.
Yeah,
And,
same.
Open carry laws.
Yeah, I don't think of that. I think of like, yeah, big plate of pancakes.
Clue. In some cases, yeah, in Utah, yeah. Mormon girls, say what you want about Mormons, but Mormon girls tend to take very good care of themselves for the most part. And they pump out a lot of kids. Now we're at Virginia. It looks like she's wearing a wig and he's not. And that he's got pigtails.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
He says it's accurate. So.
Hey, she's from Virginia, so we gotta believe her.
Yeah.
I want to go to Virginia. I want to get out of New Jersey. I want to go I want to find one of those small towns.
I want to go where the people aren't.
If I had the place, I would either go to Florida or one of those states where they have a small town where you could hang up an American flag and put up a Trump 24 sign and just not have to worry and be surrounded by people who, you know what? Proud to be an American.
They don't got small towns in New Jersey?
It's New Jersey.
There's
a kind of New York
metro?
feel. I'm not entirely sure. I get the at least in northern New Jersey, it's sort of like a miniature New York because a lot of the people who live in northern New Jersey go into New York.
Right. But like the state as a whole, there's got to be at least a small town or two somewhere in it.
Yeah, you want to know the reason why I think is because Phil Murphy almost lost, and the thing is also, like, even when you just talk to most New Jerseyans, it's interesting. That's why I think a lot of people don't really know what's going on. I don't know. Hey, I'm with Siege. Yes, I want a period costume. I'm going to Virginia.
I agree. I do. I would wear that even in this sweltering ass heat down there.
And I want to go where I can carry a gun and shoot a gun and just be like, yeah, and trucks.
Well, Kohai,
just to go
might have your solution for you.
I want to. I don't
know. Yeah. There's a lot of places in the western states and the some of the Midwestern states and definitely parts of the South, where you're going to find exactly what you're looking for. All you're really looking at then is really differences in climate and what's more preferable to you.
Yeah. That's just like my dream.
South Dakota's high altitude. Georgia, for example, is very low altitude and very humid. So yeah, you just basically be looking for a climate that suits you at that point. But stay away from the coast, obviously.
So yeah, it's a dream. I don't know, because like my entire family is here except one brother just moved to Florida. But I don't know. I some of the stuff that's going on in Jersey just really, and I think a lot of the people in Jersey don't even realize what is going on in Jersey. Like, just Just they don't know what's going on in Jersey. So it's like they're living in a blissful ignorance on what's going on. And when I tell them, they actually don't believe me. So
yeah. All right, let's hit up Washington.
No.
I mean, it rains a lot there.
Yeah, but the hair color is wrong.
Well, he's the old man who's being washed away in the flood of progressiveness.
Yeah.
Which is accurate, by the way. But yeah, it does rain kind of constantly there. And also that kind of looks like he just stepped into an enormous pothole that was filled with water. Which wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, if you're talking like Seattle. Seattle's a mess.
I've been to Seattle, but it was a very long time ago.
Yeah, it's a mess. All right, we got West Virginia. It bothers me that the pig has fingers.
Why does the pig have fingers?
It's AI. AI does that shit. If you look closely at the farmer's hand, his fingers are all jacked up too. They can't do hands for some reason, and apparently they can't do hooves.
Those are feet.
Yeah. No, D-Day Direwolf. We are going through what an AI thinks that Europeans think of the United States.
So yes, everyone blame UA.
So, and we're almost to the end here. Wisconsin. I mean,
I don't know. I've never been to Wisconsin.
Isn't
Jeremy Hambley from The Quartering?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Looks like he's kind of got a Green Bay-ish kind of shirt going on there. He's got the cheese hat, lots of cheese, good whiskey.
Lots of cheese.
Yeah. I think the only thing they're missing is I think Wisconsin does a pretty fair turn on chocolate there, but yeah, I'd say that's accurate. It's just like, ouch. They are far off. Yep, one left. The state that I am currently occupying.
All right, Wyoming. How accurate is? Awesome.
I mean, that might have been accurate, 80 years ago. There are settled places now with like amenities and shit, nice. Paved streets and that sort of thing. There are actually a lot of people who still ride out here though. And as far as the weather in the background goes, that's been every day for like 2 months, the last 2 months. So yeah.
Hey, now you guys know how I feel when people tell me you drive cars in Egypt. Yes, we do. There's a lot of cars. There are too many cars in Egypt. There are so many cars.
I appreciate it.
Oh, I knew. Okay, yes. That's exactly how he looks. Exactly.
What, like sunburnt Mexican Clint Eastwood?
When he's wearing a human skin. You see, you have to understand, when he's trying to pass among the humans, he has to wear a human skin. So that's what he looks like when he wears a kind of human skin over him, so that it's like if he goes to the supermarket, if he went out in his true horrific horror, people would drop dead in horror or run screaming away from him. So he has to wear a human skin. Okay. You see, now, one of these days when I am still begging for him to do it, given the insanity going on in this world, but apparently, according to him, things have not gone crazy enough. I am hoping he will reveal to us all his unbearable horror in its true form and take down the majority of the insanity. But he says it's not time.
I'm trying to, I think Horror Amarada's on board, but I'm trying to talk some of my other fellow Eldritch entities on the internet into doing a stream together so we can blow Shadow's fucking mind. So I'm attempting to reach out to Omegon and Mahler as well. I think that would be a lot of fun, the four of us.
Yes.
And also, I'm trying to prove a point to Shadow that we don't all know each other.
You don't? I sort of, it's like with me. I know all Muslims, every single one of them, every Egyptian. I know.
Yeah, like it's and Kohai. Yeah, I'm reaching out to people, like nothing set in stone. It's just it was an idea I had, and I mentioned it to Horror, and she seemed to like the idea. But she's the only one I've had direct contact with. I haven't actually, heard anything back from Mahler or Omegon yet. And they're both much bigger YouTubers and much busier guys. So that's a long shot anyway. But if I can't pull it off, we definitely will do something at some point if they're willing, which would be, I think that'd be cool. It'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, this is, I don't own a hat like that, nor do I might have a duster somewhere in a closet, but that's about it. Also, I haven't ridden a horse since I was like 13. Which for the record, folks, was like 30 years ago. So, yeah, no, I like the image though. It's
pretty cool.
It's a good image. I think that's the end of the list.
So wait, so you got the best one of all of us.
Well, I mean,
yeah. I got dude eating spaghetti with his hands. I mean, at least you know what New Jersey should have been? Just some dude just sitting there with a shirt looking boring. Because New Jersey, one of the great things about New Jersey and people don't understand is the fact that it is so boring. Like when we get an actual flood that hits us, it's like a big deal. I think we had one I think it was like last year where there was massive flooding. But in general, one of the great things about New Jersey is we are so boring and nothing happens here. So while the rest of the world, like they'll be like massive snowstorms hitting the Northeast. And it's like we get 2 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what the best part of the New Jersey one was?
I'm not trying it.
Hold up. You know what the best part of the New Jersey one was? Was not that the guy was eating spaghetti with his hands, but that he had a fork on the table. He had the option to not do that, and he still went with the eating with his hands. That's the best part of that whole image. Because it's funny. I don't know.
No, that's not. Yeah, I agree with Primal One. That's one of the great things. And the thing is, a lot of people. I mean, one of the things that surprised me, at least in general, are the number of people I work with are based normal people. Who most of this leftist stuff, the insanity that's going on in the world, they don't know about. And when you tell them about it, they're like, no, that's not really happening. I'm like, yes, it is. No, they don't. And when you tell them, they're not for it, which is why, for example, 50% of Bud Light sales dropped at Stu Leonard's because most New Jerseyans, even if we are kind of a blue state, aren't crazy. But you know, the craziest thing is, so when I fly to Egypt, I leave out of Newark because JFK is a pain in the butt. Do not recommend JFK. It is a nightmare to get into JFK. And I'm leaving Newark, New Jersey airport, okay? And they are selling souvenirs to people going internationally. They are selling I Love New York shirts in New Jersey. No, I want an I Love New Jersey shirt.
But no one does.
Why?
Even people from New Jersey don't love New Jersey. That's why.
I was listening to some Tim Pool thing, and he was talking about how he left New Jersey. He's like, everyone is leaving New Jersey. He's like, the only people left in New Jersey are old people. But at least Primal One, see, the Primal One, I want boring. See, come to New Jersey. How often does New Jersey come up in the news? Most people, when you tell, I mean, for example, people talk about, what's his name, Chris Christie, right? Did you know he was the governor of New Jersey? Most people have no idea who Chris Christie is. And I'm like, no, beware Chris Christie. So, like, they'll talk about all the governors who led these elderly to die in nursing homes during COOF, right? You know, Phil Murphy did it too, but they never mentioned New Jersey because if you say the name Phil Murphy, people will be like, who? The governor of New Jersey. Wait, New Jersey still exists? Yes! We're one of the original 13.
Yeah, everybody usually just thinks of New Jersey as like New York's appendix.
Yes. Actually, that's being generous, calling us New York's appendix.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good though. I don't know, but as far as the photographs, I think some of them were probably accurate. Yeah. Some of them were obviously, flights of AI fancy fueled by European delusion. But yeah, I think for the most part they were pretty good. They were fun. I will say that they were a lot of fun.
Wait, what is the situation? And I love that Chris Crispy. Now I need one for Phil Murphy. What is the situation? Apparently, Clue does not forgive us for something called The Situation.
Oh, like Mike the Situation.
I don't know.
From the Jersey Shore, there was a guy on that. You know how you recently discovered who Snooki is?
Yeah, I never watched the Jersey Shore. All I know is some ugly woman.
So,
some
one of the other characters
woman
on there went by. His name was Mike Sabatino or some shit like that, but he calls himself The Situation. So he was Mike The Situation Sabatino or whatever. I don't remember what his last name is. I'm pretty sure it's not Sabatino, but it's just another dude from
Jersey Shore. So basically, New Jersey is basically the Jersey Shore. So they should have put a picture of the cast of the Jersey Shore.
Pretty much, yeah, because that's really all anybody thinks about when they they think of New Jersey. Honestly, that and Kevin Smith. I've
never watched the Jersey Shore. I have no idea what happened in the Jersey Shore or what it even was. Oh. Yeah, no clue.
Okay. Oh, hold on a second. I got that in the wrong thing. Kohai sent me a little thing for Ryan. He scooted out before, obviously, he could see it, but we're going to show it anyway as soon as I get it uploaded onto here. Here we go. Yep. I think that's just about perfect.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes. Kohai, you are brilliant.
That is just about perfect. I love it.
Yes.
We're going to keep that around. He's definitely going to see that at some point.
Yes. That is perfect.
That's good stuff. I may forgive Choosy forget it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Have you seen him lately? Dude looks like I know he got all vegan to save his life and all that stuff, but man, the guy needs to eat a fucking sandwich with something that's not a plant on it. He's starting to look a little jaundiced and malnourished and skeletal.
What if this whole vegan diet thing is another part of the whole plan to drop the population by starving people to death?
I think the vegan thing is less about that and more about just abject stupidity and ignorance of the, digestive processes of the human body.
Because the number of people that we have seen who basically look like they are starving to death, who have gone vegan. I mean, what's his name? The guy who played Iron Man, whose name Robert Downey
RDJ.
Jr. Yeah, it looks like he is dying, and now you're saying Kevin Smith looks like he is dying. What if it is a secret plot to slowly kill people?
I don't want to jump the gun and say he looks like he's dying. He just looks unhealthy at this point. Like for a while there, after he dropped a ton of weight after his heart attack, he started looking a little healthier, a little color coming back to his cheeks. But now he's taken on kind of a yellowish tinge, which usually indicates jaundice or some kind of malnourishment.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that thing about the woman who died from a vegan diet. Yeah. No, I considered way back when vegetarianism at one point when I was much younger, and I realized that after even a couple of days, I was just it was bad for me, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I mean, just only after a couple of days, I felt a difference in energy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to. So I'm like, the thing is, one of the arguments between my parents is, and my father finally gave up, is one of the things about Islam is you're not allowed to make forbidden something God made allowed. So, for example, meat, we're allowed to eat meat. You're not allowed to forbid yourself something that has been given permission for you to eat. Now, if you don't like it, like, for example, I'm not a big steak person. I don't eat it because I forbidden myself from it. It's just certain steaks I'm just not a fan of. But you can't just tell yourself, I have made this. You cannot make haram what is halal. So becoming a vegetarian is actually haram because, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. Personally, I think that I'm less inclined to think of it in religious terms as I am in terms of what my body is telling me I need.
That's
yeah. It's like you can feel when you're missing a particular thing, like a protein or like potassium or something like that. You get a craving for things that have those things in it. I don't understand how vegans get through a day in their lives without their hunger driving them crazy.
By the way,
we crave meat for a reason.
Yeah. By the way, a disclaimer and a note for everyone. Cats cannot live on vegan diets. If you put your cat on a vegan diet, you will kill your cat. It will take years and the cat will suffer. Cats are what is known as obligate carnivores. Their bodies do not produce certain proteins and they have to eat meat. So just a disclaimer out there, because I know some moronic idiots think they can put their cats on vegan diets. Cats are not dogs. Dogs are omnivores. Technically, if you want to help a dog,
dogs really aren't built for that either.
No, they're not.
They can consume some plants, but usually that just helps them to settle their stomach or to upchuck something they can't digest. They don't eat plants. They're not plant eaters either.
No, but the difference is, the reason I'm just pointing out is there's one difference between cats and dogs, and that is a cat is an obligate carnivore. Dogs aren't missing. Their bodies don't produce certain proteins.
Right.
Whereas dogs don't have that. Yeah.
I will say this though. Cats are obviously not capable of being vegan. They're not vegans. I'm 100% with you on. There's no reason to let the animals suffer. But you know what cats are? Made of meat.
Yeah.
You mean you have to boil the shit out of them like a bunch of times because they're also riddled with parasites. But you can eat cats. Just saying.
Good luck. Muggsy just heard you say that. It's been nice knowing you.
I'm not I wouldn't be abusing the animals. I wouldn't make it suffer. I'd be as quick as I would anything else I was going to eat. And obviously cats would not be my first choice. They're all sinewy, and you got to get past that. There's not really that much meat on them.
Yes,
but there is meat on them.
Muggsy says she needs to hunt you down now. Yeah, and by the way, Clue, my cat is one of the 1%. She probably secretly is part of a motorcycle gang, and I'm jealous because now I want to be. The more you talked about motorcycle gangs, the more jealous I am now. I think they're awesome, but I'm a 5 foot, 100-pound Muslim woman, so don't see I have a chance joining a motorcycle gang.
I mean, all cats are murderers.
Yes, and she's proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Muggsy, you're more than welcome to try. I exist in several dimensions, so.
I think Muggsy also exists in several dimensions.
Not the ones I exist in.
Okay, thank God. Or we'd be having an eternal conflict and the world would be shaking. It'd probably be like every time there's an earthquake. Oh, no.
Look, I'm just saying, like, cats may not be the most nourishing meal ever, but in a pinch, they'll do. But make sure, if you're ever in a position where you have to eat a cat, boil the fuck out of it because, again, riddled with parasites.
The thing is,
because they're carnivores. Most carnivores are riddled with parasites. It has to do with their diet.
So what kind of parasites? Because I know that
trichinosis.
You're okay, because I was like, because I know you're more likely to get infection from a human bite than from a cat bite.
No, from the meat itself, you'll get parasites.
Yeah, from the meat itself.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about them biting me. They're going to be dead by the time I boil. I'm not going to boil them alive, cat. That's fucked up.
I don't know. You're an interdimensional demon from the depths of various
I'm not cruel.
I don't know. You're an interdimensional demon from various depths from hell. Now I brought a cat on to tempt you.
Clue, if you've eaten at certain Chinese places, I guarantee you already have.
That's why I only eat at Muslim Chinese places. We're not actually religiously.
I said certain ones. There are others that are just fine, but you got to kind of know the place.
Actually, we knew a couple Middle Eastern. They closed a while back, but at one point we knew several Middle Easterners who owned Chinese restaurants and served halal food from Chinese restaurants. So it's like kind of cool.
Yeah. So, but I think we will probably call it here. We've been on for a little over an hour and a half, and I think we've had a pretty good show, pretty fun show today. It's always good to have a fun time.
Yes, thank God.
All that, and not talk about Barbie, because fuck Barbie, because I'm not interested in Barbie. Although I might bring this up on screen. I did make the demon memer is not the only memer present. I have recently tried my hand at memes myself.
Oh no.
And I gotta find the damn thing. But I did recently post one that I made the other day. I was listening to what you would call it, Friday Night Tights for the first time in like a month or so, and Gary said something that just got me thinking, and I think he's probably right about that. He said that Ken in the Barbie movie is Rorschach from Watchmen. Like they're basically the same character.
Okay.
So I made a meme about that. That is currently loading. Here we go.
Thank God for.
So that's my first attempt at memeing. Hope you all enjoy it.
Hey, I'm just glad that's good Barbie talk. Look.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there in the world. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, as far as Barbie talk goes, that's as far as it's going to go. I am probably going to just avoid that kind of thing altogether because I don't care. It's not a movie I was going to go see anyway.
Yeah, me neither.
It's rated PG-13, so one of my kids shouldn't be seeing it, and the other one's a legal adult. She can see whatever she likes. Like I have no skin in this game at all.
The only
but
thing
it clearly
about
wasn't made for a dude who's not into pink plastic dolls. Just saying.
Well, listen, it wasn't made for me either. And one of the things I have to keep reminding myself is everything is subjective. Because to me, Barbie was stupid. But I have to remind myself that just as I like first-person shooters and I think RTS games are boring, some people like RTS games. So I have to keep reminding myself to not be a hypocrite and understand that people like Barbie. But I did not have Barbie dolls as a kid. I did not care for Barbie.
In this country, that kind of makes you an exception, not the rule.
I wanted Transformers, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, the A-Team.
Man, look, Barbies were in my house. I had a little sister, but those were her toys.
I was the oldest
girl.
I
blew up with firecrackers, but still.
I did not. I mean, I was just telling him in the live stream earlier that one year a family member made a doll for me, and I started crying because I wanted the Hess trucks like my brothers. Oh God, please no.
D-Day Direwolf, that's their loss, I guess.
And they dodged a bullet.
Little fun fact. I know we're closing out here, but if you and your significant other, be they your boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse or what have you, do not have separate interests, shit's not going to last. It isn't. And if you can't if you can't accept that people have separate interests, you should have some interests in common. Sure. You should have a common foundation, but you should also have separate interests. You cannot spend all of your time focused on this other person all the time because that's not healthy either. You got to have that thing. So, if they're breaking up with dudes because they don't want to watch Barbie, then, the fucking shallow bitches anyway. They don't need them.
Muggsy, why? No. Dear God, no. Please, no. I hated Barbie.
Yes, Muggsy, you should absolutely do that.
I went through where everyone thought I would want a doll. And it's like, no, no, and I was the oldest, so you'd think no. I had a Raggedy Ann doll that was given to me at my birth. We used that for karate practice. We beat the hell out of things. Of course, I got a couple dolls. We beat them up. I hated dolls. I absolutely 100% hated dolls.
I'm curious. Before we go here, one, you said you'd been lurking judgingly. Which part specifically are you judging? Is it the cats? Is it what I said about cats? Because I say a lot of bad stuff about cats.
Yeah, he has said
not about Cat, who's right next to me. I like her just fine. I'm not a feline enthusiast.
And I don't judge you for it. I understand some people don't like cats. I understand some people do like cats. sort of like Barbie. Some people actually like Barbie. I still don't understand how.
Lots of people actually like Barbie. It's not some, it's a lot. That's
And
why
like,
that's why this has any traction at all, is because there are actually a lot of people who remember those toys fondly, who bought those toys for their kids, and so on and so forth. It's tremendously popular in this country. It always has been. You just aren't part of that demographic, and that's okay. But you got to accept the fact that like a lot of other people are. It's not a small thing.
I know. It's just when you look at something that's just so god awful in your opinion, like how can anybody like it? It's like I gotta remember people have different opinions and people are different. Yeah, it's subjective. Yes, I can't be.
I don't understand how people like onions. But that doesn't mean there's not lots and lots and lots of people who like onions.
And that's why I said with video games, for example, there's certain video games like Mass Effect. I am not a fan of Mass Effect. I know it's a good game. I know that people like it. I just have to apply that same logic to Barbie. It's just that I look at Barbie, I'm like, you put clothes on a doll.
Oh.
I don't know. But the thing is also, you have to keep in mind, this is not a typical Egyptian thing either. Most Egyptian girls probably had Barbie dolls or had dolls of some kind, because I remember there was Barbie in Egypt as well. There were Barbie dolls in Egypt. Now, when I was a kid, they were very expensive, but at this point, they're probably a lot more. Oh, okay. Now that, if you don't mind me cutting it up, Muggsykins. So no, I'm trying to be. I am trying to fix, be better about that and be like, yes, some people actually like dressing up dolls in different clothes and driving them and giving them houses and stuff like that. I don't like Barbies at all, Mr. Dystopian. Hijabi Barbie. If you were to put headphones and a cap and call it Gamer Barbie, still wouldn't like it.
Oh, they'd have to call it Gamer Anita, but yeah.
Oh dear God, that's even worse.
On that note, I think we'll probably end the stream. Thank you all for coming and what have you. We appreciate you all being here for our fun discussion today. We don't always have to be heavy and serious.
Thank you.
And I think we had a pretty good time. Kat, where can people find you and when?
There is no such thing as a Corpus Barbie. As the marketing director of the Corpus, I forbid such things. Our children are taught useful strategies and skills, such as taking apart weapons, earning profit, and working. We work our children, or train them and educate them. There is no Barbie in the Corpus. I will probably be live streaming tomorrow. I don't know yet what. Probably not Remnant from the Ashes. I played that yesterday. Today. I don't know what else. And I'm going to try and live stream more during the week. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Though I like that idea, Muggsykins. If you do send a Barbie hat, I will chop it into itty bitty little pieces.
Seems like a lot of effort for that, but okay.
Itty bitty little pieces. They're preferably a Barbie doll, because then I could get a hammer to it. And that would be a lot of fun.
I mean, I'd say you could smash Ken's junk, but what junk, right? All right. Well, I am Samuel the Infamous. This is my channel. You can find me here every Saturday with Kat, my co-host, and a host of other people who come and go as they apparently please. Oh
my God, Sandy, that's a great idea. Sorry.
I'm in my outro, woman.
But she gave me a brilliant idea.
All right. Meanwhile... You can also find us on Friday nights with Know Me Without You and Lawrence Knight doing Abyssal Musings, and Sundays Star Trek Engage, which we simulcast not only to this channel but also Legion Talk, Horny Alf's channel, Devil Made Me Do It's channel, possibly Adam the Renaissance Nerd in upcoming weeks, and a couple of Twitter pages and I think a Facebook page. It gets simulcast all over the fucking place. We're pretty easy to find on Sundays. This week we're doing The Man Trap and
Charlie X.
Possibly Charlie X.
And you were right. I looked it up on Amazon, and it's where No Man Has Gone Before, which I thought would have been episode 1, is episode 3. I thought it was odd because I would have thought it would have been episode 1 just because but no, it's episode 3.
Yeah. So, and that's where you can find me anyway. Also, I believe I have not confirmed this yet, but I believe the Exiled Lioness is planning on going live tonight at some point as well. So you can find me over there along with Lawrence Knight in the chat and also in backstage, because I help produce that show. And that's it. I don't know. Is there anything else we want to mention before we hit the dealio?
And not that I can think of, other than thank you for making this fun. There's too many horrible things going on.
Yeah, no problem. Part of the reason that it was fun is because I was scrambling for fucking things to talk about this morning. So I just started looking random shit up because I didn't pay attention to anything that was going on in the world this week. So I'm going to be in trouble on a mirror show because it's all about current events.
Good luck. Yeah, I barely paid attention either. I've been looking into 3D printing. I said I got my 3D printer, and that's about it.
Yeah. So, all right. All that being said, this has been a great show. Thank you in the chat for being here. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see you all soon. And remember, YouTube, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Night, everybody.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.